Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a three. And in this particular video, I'm going to talk about joy in academic PhD research. So if you don't know me, I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There were so many people that helped me out to get through graduate school that I wanted to pay the favor forward and help you all out as much as I can. So one of the things that you might if you pay attention to this channel, you will notice that I am sometimes a little bit down on how difficult it is to do a PhD or to go into graduate school. You have a lot of different difficulties. There's lots of different challenges that you feel. You feel that you're really in your head and you have a lot of anxiety and, just feelings of just being, loneliness and things like that. There's lots of things that you deal with. But I wanted to talk about the joy and euphoria that you actually feel when you are discovering something new. And that's a really wonderful feeling that you actually get. And you don't get that in too many other places. So I feel a tremendous amount of joy when I'm sitting there and doing research and I'm grinding away at something. And then all of a sudden something sort of pops and I actually see the world in a different way. That's a really wonderful thing. And I think there's three sort of moments that happen when you're actually doing academic research that are really joyous and they're super fun. And, they don't happen every single day, but when they happen, it is an amazing experience that it's hard to tell other people about. They just don't get that feeling. So the first thing is being able to learn something that you've always wanted to learn about and just to dig into something and just do discovery on a particular topic that you're just always were curious about. There's very few people that can do this, and you actually have the time to actually sit down and to do research on a particular topic. And it turns out it's actually hard not to sort of go in all of these, going in one direction and digging deeper and deeper into a particular direction. You have to sort of cap yourself and not go too much into search because, we do get we get all these chemicals and all that sort of released in our brain whenever we're searching, and we get a little bit of, enlightenment, I guess. You do get that feeling and you get that you just want to keep going and searching. So you have to put a cap on it, but it is a really fun thing to sort of do discovery and understand the world around you that you've always wanted to learn, right? So I started out with my PhD. In my master's program, I did international business, specifically looking at international entrepreneurship or how companies sort of do business at an international scale when they're really small or really new. And, I studied that for several years and it was really interesting. But then after a while, I started looking into different areas and I began to realize that I actually liked decision-making and organizational learning a little bit more and started thinking about these sort of topics, how managers actually make decisions or how organizations actually make decisions and learn over time through repeated decisions, and they get better at the thing that they're doing. And it just was a really interesting, sort of intriguing topic. And so I've actually spent the greater of the past decade sort of digging down and looking at that, which is kind of fun to be able to do that. It's tough, it's difficult, and there's a lot of smart people out in the world that are far better than I am at doing this kind of stuff. But at the same time, it is kind of wonderful. It is something that not a lot of people actually can do. It's akin to entrepreneurship, where you can actually do something that you actually want to do and you choose to do the thing that you want to do. And it's sort of purposeful entrepreneurship where you can go in that particular direction because you want to. And not a lot of people get to do that. The second sort of moment that you get this sense of euphoria that, it lasts probably a couple of days, is when you do have a discovery, like an actual discovery that you and nobody else had before. And that happens. It does after you've been working at something for 6 months. And all of a sudden you read something that's slightly different and you're like, wow, this is going to solve my problem. All of a sudden I figured out what I should do. And this moment of euphoria is really exciting. And you want to tell everybody about it, but nobody is going to understand that feeling of euphoria that you actually get. It's kind of weird. And not a lot of people sort of get that idea, but you do get this massive sense of euphoria when you discover something new that is just I've never experienced anything else in any sort of area in my life that has been remotely close to that, where you struggle at something and all of a sudden something clicks and it all makes sense and there's a moment of absolute clarity and you see what you're supposed to do. It's really fun when that happens. And the third thing in terms of pleasure that you get and happiness that you actually get from doing any sort of graduate school, any sort of education, is a sense of smugness and a sense of pride. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, in sort of saying that this is something that you should sort of look down upon in any sort of way. But I'm saying that it is a sense of pride and a sense of smugness in a good way, that you actually have accomplished something once you complete that thing that is difficult and not a lot of people can do. And people are actually trying to do that thing and they can't do it. So if you actually accomplish that thing and sort of pursue in that area and you come up with something that is new and different and unique, it's really fun because all of a sudden you're playing at the global stage that nobody else is able to sort of do that thing. And you have an answer to this problem that somebody else around the world likely has or may experience in the future or has experienced in the past and they haven't realized it. So it's really fun to have that experience. And one sort of moment where this happened to me is there was I was giving a presentation and there was a leader from NASA that was in the seminar, and I was like blown away after that. People from NASA were actually listening to what I had to say, which was really cool. And I wasn't going to get that in any sort of way. So you do get that a lot when you do the sort of research game, because you do bump into people that are genuinely curious and they want to learn from people that are doing the academic thing, and they get and value the academic thing, the game. You do run into that on a regular basis. So just, stay put. If it hasn't happened to you, it's going to happen to you. Now, I just wanted to point out, so, doing a PhD, going to graduate school, it's not about the money. Yes, there's better programs or programs that give you more money in the end because of supply and demand factors. But at the end, it's really about this experience of joy that you feel with search and discovery, where you're actually digging into something and you have this joyful feelings. It's painful and that's okay, but you do get those joyful feelings that motivate you to keep going to the next stage. And you should be paying attention to that. That's an important thing that you should be paying attention to. That's all I want to say. I know that this is, it is, what I'm trying to say is that this is sometimes difficult to sort of accept that it is a joyous thing. But if you take a step back and you think about that it actually is a joyous thing, your mind and your mindset on what it means to become an academic person is massively changed. And that's all I wanted to say. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, take care. Bye.